So you're looking for the fastest Shopify theme, right? You've probably seen all those lists, all of them waving around these perfect speed scores. But here's the thing. They're almost all testing themes in a perfect little bubble. They're looking at empty demo stores, not real, live businesses like yours. Well, today, we are going to cut through all that noise. We're going to find out how these themes actually perform when it really, truly matters.
Okay, here's how we're going to break it all down. First up, we're going to pull back the curtain on what I call the Shopify speed trap. Then, I'll walk you through our unique real-world testing method and, of course, reveal the winners. And trust me, some of them are surprising. From there, we'll talk about the hidden cost of free themes. Then, I'll give you 5 essential rules to keep your store blazing fast. And finally, we'll put it all together to help you pick the perfect theme for your business.
All right, let's dive right into Section 1, the Shopify speed trap. This is so important because those shiny demo scores, they can be incredibly misleading. So let's just ask the big question. Is that perfect Shopify theme demo score a lie? Well, yeah, kinda. It's not a direct lie maybe, but it's definitely a lie of omission. That perfect 100 out of 100 score, it represents a squeaky clean, totally empty store. And let's be honest, that's not your reality, is it? And this really shows you the why behind it all. Think about it like this. On the left, you've got the demo store. It's like a brand new race car in a sterile lab, perfectly tuned, no baggage. But on the right, well, that's your store. That's reality. It's more like that same car stuck in rush hour traffic, loaded down with apps, marketing scripts, and all those beautiful high-resolution images. What works perfectly in the lab can absolutely crumble on a real-world city street. And you know what? This isn't just a techie thing. The stakes are massive. We're talking about real money. Google actually found that just a 1-second delay in your page load time can slash your conversions by a whopping 20%. Let that sink in. Speed isn't just some nice feature to have. It is a direct line to your revenue.
So, if the demo scores are flawed, how do we get to the truth? Well, that's what we're tackling in Section 2. We put together our own unique 2-phase method specifically to stress test these themes under real-world pressure.
Our process is actually pretty straightforward. It's broken into 2 key steps. Step 1 is the baseline test. This is where we measure a theme's absolute best-case scenario speed, using that perfect developer demo. Then comes Step 2, the stress test. This is where we measure its performance on a real, successful, live store, with all the apps, the traffic, the whole shebang. And the most important number? It's the gap between those 2 scores. That drop-off tells you everything you need to know.
Okay, time for the fun part. Let's get to the results. And I have to say, even we were a little surprised by some of these findings. This is where things get really interesting.
So as you look at this table, I want you to focus on one thing in particular, the gap between that baseline score and the real-world score. That's the real story here. You'll see some themes that start out looking like superstars, but they just completely fall apart under pressure. And then you have others, they're just rock solid and incredibly stable.
All right, let's kick things off with Dawn, which you probably know is Shopify's own free theme. Now, in our baseline test, it was, wow. It scored an amazing 93 on Modal. Straight out of the box, it was hands down the fastest theme we looked at.
But, and this is a huge but, here's the catch. We put it on a real live store and that beautiful score plummeted all the way down to 58. So what happened? Well, Dawn is what you'd call a bare bones theme. To get all the features a real store needs, like product reviews or upsells, you have to add apps. And every single one of those apps adds more code that just slows everything down. This, my friends, is what we call the app trap.
Okay, now let's switch gears and look at a premium theme like Booster. At first glance, its baseline score of 78 might not seem as impressive as Dawn's. But check this out. Its real-world score is a super stable 72.
I mean, the difference is just crystal clear, right? Booster's performance drop-off is tiny. And the reason is simple. It already has a ton of those essential marketing features built right in. You don't need to go out and install a bunch of slow third-party apps. It's built to handle the pressure from the get-go.
And this whole idea brings us to our next section, which is a really critical point, the hidden cost of free. We're going to see why choosing a free theme can sometimes be the most expensive mistake you'll ever make.
You know, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The biggest misconception in Shopify is that starting with a free theme saves you money. And it's so true. When you actually sit down and look at the numbers, the story changes completely.
Let's actually break down the math here.
To get the same kind of features in the free Dawn theme the Booster already has built in, you'd need to spend about $75 a month on apps. That adds up to $900 a year for your free theme. Now compare that to Booster's annual fee of just under $200. The premium theme isn't just more stable and faster in the real world, it's over 4 times cheaper. It's kind of crazy when you see it laid out like that.
Okay, so you've picked a great, stable theme. Your work is done, right? Well, not quite. The battle's not over. Now we need to talk about how to keep your store fast. So let's jump into 5 essential rules for maintaining that peak performance.
Honestly, these 5 rules are pretty much non-negotiable. First, optimize your images. Seriously, this is the #1 killer of site speed. Second, audit your apps every single month. My rule is, if you don't use it, you lose it. Get rid of it. Third, enable native lazy loading. This means images only load when a user actually scrolls to them. It's a game changer. Fourth, minimize those third-party scripts, like tracking codes. And finally, number 5, leverage browser caching. This gives your returning visitors an almost instant loading experience.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground. So in our final section, let's bring it all home. Let's talk about your final theme choice, because the best theme really depends on your specific goals.
So who is Dawn best for? If you are just starting out and you're on a really tight budget, Dawn is a fantastic choice. It's free, it's a super fast foundation to build on. Just go into it with your eyes open and be mindful that as you grow and add more features, your costs and your load times are going to go up. Now, what if you're past that initial stage and you're really focused on growth and marketing? For you, Booster probably offers the highest return on investment. It saves you a ton of money on apps in the long run, and it keeps your store fast and stable right when you need it most. It's really the smart choice for a business that's getting serious.
Okay, but what if you're an SEO person, or you're just absolutely obsessed with getting the highest possible score on Google Page Speed Insights? In that case, you gotta look at Shella. It consistently gave us the best raw speed scores in all of our tests, and it's a huge favorite among technical SEO experts for a reason.
And finally, for the big players, the high-volume stores, the Shopify Plus merchants, Turbo is still pretty much the king of scalability. It is an industry standard for a reason. It's just built like a tank to handle massive inventories with total ease. And it prioritizes reliability and a snappy user experience above all else.
So I want to leave you with one final thought. I want you to start thinking of your theme as your store's #1 employee. It's the very first thing every single customer interacts with. So you have to ask yourself, is yours fast enough? Is it efficient enough? And is it reliable enough to really earn its keep?